Well, hi, I don't know how you found me. I'm kind of new around here. To YouTube, anyway. Been working on 3D printer build the last couple of episodes that I've been uploading. So, link over here or over there, wherever that is. But I'm building a giant 3D printer, the largest I've ever heard of for some guy in his garage doing it. So that's the name of my first episode, the largest DIY 3D printer. And what I mean by large is I'm literally standing in the print bit. This really isn't a tutorial video. I'm just showing you what I'm doing to build this thing. If you attempt something like this, learn from my mistakes because I'm going to show you my goof ups as well as all my wins. Man, you guys are getting heavy. I'm holding you up here. I hope you learned something by watching this, and I know myself I'll be learning as I build it. Thanks for following along. Let's get to building the Z-axis and the mount for the extruder. I got a new extruder that I'm itching to try out. This extruder is from an outfit out of Sydney, Australia, and called FlexWheel, flexwheelextruder.com. Look them up. I have really high hopes for this extruder. I have not got a chance to actually implement it yet because I'm building it with this 3D printer here, but it's a beast. So I'm gonna make the motor mount, the Z-axis, everything else coming up next. Right after this, yeah, pan to it. Cut to it, Chief. I don't know what to say next. I'm running out of things to say. All right, so I'm gonna mount the Z-axis to the gantry. It's finished. So my fabricated welding table splits apart, and now I'm able to do the full printer build as far as the size goes, and I'm really realizing just how large, can you guys even hear me anymore? How large this thing is. So the table split up into two. So one table you've been looking at the other videos you've watched from me maybe. Yeah, that was these two tables. I can split it apart, make it as wide or as short as I want. That way you can work on some larger stuff. So I got everything put together. The gantry looks pretty great. It's solider, if that's a word. I mean, it feels pretty strong. I was really worried about having just this C-beam there. I'll probably beef that up as well. But she's pretty strong for, I mean, it shakes the whole table before it shakes though. So the two posts, pretty easy to put together, put on. So everything is going together like the plan I had in my head, because I don't have an actual CAD design for this thing. I have an idea about what I want it to look like, and I'm making some changes and building it on the fly. So I don't normally operate like this, but this is just one project where it's kind of amalgamation between a bunch of other 3D printers and systems that I've seen before. And it is completely me. And this thing is huge. I don't even know where to point the camera. Okay, do you guys want to see my next problem? I am working on the actuator for the Z-axis. It's the shortest actuator I have. You can't, I'm pointing, you can't see it. That's the shortest actuator I have in this whole printer. And it's not really not meant to be the final Z actuator. It's sort of my stand-in actuator for now. I'll upgrade it a little bit later. I'll give you a look now. It's got a Nema 23 size stepper motor, a 10-to-1 gear reduction, goes into an Acme lead screw, and I believe that's 1 millimeter per revolution. I don't know exactly. I'm gonna have to figure that out. And the build plate. So if you could see from the stand-in ruler, which I pretty much always have in my videos, it's about 10 inches of total stroke here, but you're losing a little bit from the size of the plate, where the nut is placed. So the actual stroke is somewhere around 7 inches or 6 inches compared to the full 10-inch bar here. So that's pretty short for a Z. But the other big boy actuators make up for that. And like I said, this is not the for sure Z-axis, though I will be upgrading this in a little bit, but I just want to get it mounted, get something printing. So I'm going with this for now. And so my next engineering problem is how to connect this little tiny plate to this plate up here, because the plate's got to connect. Let me just hold it up so you see what I'm doing. So you might just jump to the conclusion where, hey, I'll just mount it like that. and then I can go up and down. But that means this little thing is just sticking down there the entire time. And it stays that way. So you literally can't print anything taller than where I'm standing right now, which is where the bed is, to the bottom of this actuator. So this could go up and down, yeah, that would work. And this would work very well for milling. So that's a good milling setup. Me, I'm gonna be a little bit more precarious and engineeringly more dangerous, which is mount the two, let me give you a good shot there. Mount the two plates together, so instead of the plate actuating, the whole actuator goes up and down. And so that frees up all the dead space underneath it, allowing me to mount whatever I want right to the back here onto those grooves. There's a few problems I gotta handle. Number one being, let's see if we can get you a good camera shot of this, is when they're mounted together, the plate at the top will hit before the actual plates hit together. So I need some sort of spacer, or I need to trim this top plate down. I don't have much play there. If you can see the connection nut, that's not much room to play with, and it's not enough. So I got to come up with some way of connecting these two, maybe a spacer. Then I can't go any lower than that, because the motor or the Planetary reduction gear here will hit the top of the other plate. Positioning will be pretty key here, but I think I'll get it knocked out. So let's get at it. As you can see from that shaky handheld footage, sorry about that, I don't have a good tripod. I need to figure out a way to engineer the heck out of this thing. Hashtag you'd laugh your butt off if you saw how this camera is set up. That's a really long hashtag. I'm never going to find all these pieces. This is a terrible idea. One down. Why am I taking this off? Because I need to get access to the bottom side of this plate, and I don't want to take the entire actuator apart. Done that before, and I think this might be an easier option. So far, it's easier. Hey, could you see that up there? Why didn't you tell me? I knew I was gonna drop something. Got it. You have to excuse the voice, I'm still getting over something. Okay, let's go back down. I literally just put the camera on the motor with a little mount thingy. I shoot everything on an iPhone 6S, which was my old phone. Then I got a Razor 2, and I shoot some video on that. So let me know what you guys think about the video quality. I shoot everything in 4K, but I'm not 100% sure these phones actually quite do it justice. So I think I got the size right to just skip over the top of this end block. And with the spacers, I need to make a couple more, but I'm just testing this size right now. It should fit up something like that. I hope these screws never get loose, because there's gonna be a metal piece that goes right over the top of this. So I won't be able to tighten them down very easily. Okay, she's on there. Just 2 screws for now. Don't be haters. I'll put some more. I've got a couple more holes that line up pretty well. So I'll just get those put in. I keep leaving the camera in this camera angle because I like the light here. Anyway, these plates are actually awesome. I didn't really have to worry too much about things lining up. You could just see the hole patterns, and pretty much it'll line up with other plates in common places. So these are like Legos for adults. Oh, I just realized a problem. So the mounting positions for these, I need to put screws in from the bottom of this plate up. So I can't mount it until I've got at least this one and that one, these wheels put back on there. So I can do that. Hold on. So I've never been really good at keeping track of little parts. Hello, I'm Actuator Plate. How are you? So connected them together, something like that. I'm gonna put the actuator back together and get her mounted. So this should work. I'm excited. Hey, why don't you look at my garage door for a little while? I know I'm gonna end up dropping a few parts right now. It's just the name of the game. Something like that. Okay. Now it's protected from aliens reading its brain. Having a crimp, something for the rod coupler, so it's not connected to bare metal of the shaft. Really reduces some vibration noise. So that's a little pro tip right there. I really wish I could see in here. Oh wait, I can. Hold on. I don't think. My position was actually pretty close. I'm only like a couple millimeters off. Okay, let me move this boring camera angle. Okay, here's the really tricky bit. I've got to have this piece against the metal plate, the actuator plate, this little washer on top of that, like so, all lined up. This on top of that. Then I gotta hold it vertically in the air with my finger while I feed this bolt in from the other side through all three of those. Wish me luck. I don't have a tripod. This is tricky enough, so you're gonna have to sit this one out, guys, sorry. And I got it, see, it's on there. So, that thing, the washer, then that all, and then yeah, that wasn't fun. But, got it. Okay, I think I found a way to make the camera angle even more ridiculous. I'm gonna feed this bad boy in there, something like that. Stay. Something like that. I don't know, all you can see is my fingers, I'm sorry. There we go. Got it. I think my dirty fingernails have been the star of this channel. And now you're looking. So, almost knocked the camera off. Oops. There we go, that's a Goldilocks zone right there. So you want to get that nut rotated until the wheel is nice and give you a view of my shelves this time instead. A little something else to look at. All right, one more wheel right there, top of the screen. Let's do it. I think I'm getting better at this. Boom. All right. I think it's done. Looks pretty good. I'm actually surprised at myself. I had to use a little spacer block in there. This looks pretty good. Feels pretty solid still. It's not as solid as it could be because I don't have the right amount of spacers in there. Hey, thanks for following the build so far, guys. The next part is mounting the hot end or the business end of this 3D printer. And to do that, I need an extruder, which pushes the filament to the hot end. The hot end melts it, of course, as the name suggests. So, hot end extruder. I got this extruder from Flex Wheel, and they have blown me away really with their customer service. And then Alan from Flex Wheel has been absolutely awesome in providing the information as well as all the support I need to get this extruder up and running. And their thing is, this is the last extruder you ever really need to buy. It extruder that does what it's supposed to do and doesn't clog up. I'm absolutely pumped to try this thing out in my 3D printer build. So I'll do a full review on this thing once I get some prints done with it, but I am highly optimistic here. So digging through the scrap bin, I found this piece of stainless left over from another project, so let's go ahead and revive this guy. Just need to drill a few holes and it should be an excellent base to mount the extruder and hot end. Okay, that looks to be about centered. Is that centered? Who wants another rag? Well, fine, take it. Okay, I decided to flip it around. Had a weird notch thing. I don't really have a use for that down here, so I want as much real estate down here as possible to mount stuff. So I just moved this to the top, flip to 180. Okay, so I got the pattern laid out to do as little cutting as possible. Just got to get this center section cut out, as well as drilling holes on the X's. Never underestimate the power of a good center punch them so the drill doesn't wander as much. It's not a guarantee, but it does help. And my center punches are terrible. So here's a question. How do you hold a hand drill? Classic grip, fingers around the base, pointer finger on the trigger. Second way to hold a drill. The modified grip, where your third finger, or ring finger if you're a lefty, two stabilizers up top, ring finger and pinky and thumb. Put in a lot of screws quickly. Your arm's gonna get super tired if you're holding the drill down here, because that's a lot of wrist. It's a lot of wrist right there. So my advice, whenever possible, go with the modified grip, and that will provide accuracy, save your wrist because it's more in line with your arm. My 2 cents there on how to hold a drill. Minimize those Sharpie marks with a little rubbing alcohol. And a random orbital brush finish. Just because I couldn't help myself. This here still looks pretty terrible, but maybe I'll put some cover around that. We'll see. So T-nuts can be hard to manage, especially on a vertical installation, but using a little lock screw is a great way to manage a bunch of them at the same time. And so they don't go flying off everywhere. So take that one. Also, tape works quite well. This is pretty tough with one hand. Come on, wire. Okay. So the extruder fits in here, like so. Yes, it's upside down, but that's how I'm running in the system, so. And my hot end will be right here. This is the intake port, goes around and gets fed right through. I've always been a fan of getting the extruder as close as possible to the hot end. More accurate. All right, little piece. Man, my hands are dirty. All right, so this little piece goes on here, like so. Then Mr. Hot End, I was gonna say extruder, but Mr. Hot End goes on here. Our attachment plate, that's what we're calling it. Something like that. Actually, I think I'm gonna flip it 180. There we go. That will be sort of the final position. Gotta drill and tap some holes and get her mounted. All right, I don't know if you can see that on camera. I think you can. There's all the rust back there. Anyway, I got the whole positions punched with the trusty transfer punch set. Oh, missing one. Hold on. Mise à place. You know the drill. Yep, more drilling. I probably should just go ahead and change the name of my YouTube to the Drilling and Tapping channel. That seems to be all I do. Okay, got her mounted up. She looks pretty good. It's like the ugly stepchild, but it's on there. And should do a few prints before I get tired and want to change it. Thanks for following along. Oh, I almost knocked the camera off. You guys need to scoot back a lot. Give me some space here.